In this session we're going to look at collision detection. First thing we'll do is set up a quick path that the robot can move along. We've already taught some vias here in the world. We'll zoom in on them. So we open the edit path panel. We can just graphically select the vias that we want to be in the path. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see that vias 2 and 3 are going to be the locations we move to, and then the approach and depart are 1 and 4. So you can see we move the robot through the 4 vias. Now let's edit the attributes of the via. First we'll change the blend to be no fly fine, so it actually goes very close to the point. We'll change the joint space motion to be straight line, Cartesian straight line. And we'll set the velocity. Now that they're Cartesian, it's a linear velocity of the tooltip, and we'll set that, let's see, it's in millimeters, so we'll set it to 50 millimeters a second. Okay. Now when we move along the path now, it moves in a straight line, and slowly, you can see along the 2 locations. Then when it gets to the end, it stops. Okay, well, we'd really like to have it to go back to the beginning, so let's take the approach frame, the via, copy it, and paste it on the end of the path. Now you see 5 frames in the world. Okay, so now if you were to execute the path, it would go back to the beginning. Okay, so we can start looking at collision detection now. There's here, you toggle it on and off. You can select the collision tolerance there. The collision pairs is who it's checking, the robot versus the gun. And the exclude pairs is link N, which is the last link of the robot. You don't want a continual collision, so you exclude that from checking. So if we move along the path, we see that there are no collisions here. So we'll go back and we'll make a shape and we'll add it in the world. So let's say create primitive shape. We'll just create a big block that we'll add to the world and see if we can collide with it. Okay, so we add it and it appears the world. So let's look at the top view. So if we go to the move panel, select it. It's called block 02. Make sure we move it in the X, Y, and we can either jump or drag it. Let's just drag it right over to where we need it. There we go. So let's go back and look at the collision detection. Let's turn it off and let's go back and test the path. You can see now that the gun is going to run right through that part we just added. Okay, so then let's go back and turn collision detection on, and then we should see a collision with this part. So we'll get collision detection. We'll look at the collision pairs are now the gun versus block 2, the robot versus block 2, and of course the gun versus the robot. And then the exclude pair is just the last link N of the robot and the gun. We don't want to check for that collision. That would be a collision all the time. So let's turn it on and just execute the path. And here we can see it turns red, parts that collide, and then when it's done colliding it unturns red. There you go.